Hello. Today I am talking to Matthew Fisch, who has just completed my 6-month leadership coaching program. Matthew, thank you for agreeing to do this interview today.
Absolutely no problem. Glad to be working with you and glad to do this.
Awesome. So I'd like to just start by asking you, why did you feel that you wanted leadership coaching originally?
Well, it's a good question. And I think this is a classic metaphor for a lot of executives who work on their hard skills. So I went and got my MBA, I worked hard on my master's in cybersecurity and I'm working really, really hard, but I wasn't galvanizing the power of making things happen in a team environment. And I wasn't diagonally moving in the directions I wanted to move to. And I'm not sure I was even aware of the taxonomy of the language used at executives who get promoted.
So what do you feel that you learned about your leadership skills and how you relate to other people to get the best results out of them through this process?
Well, I think one of the things I learned was that I was unaware of my own body language. So I think that when I was communicating in an aggressive way, which is the way sales people and marketing tend to do, and you forget about being result oriented and you don't know how you're perceived and you don't seek to understand context. You're not looking for that awareness. And that was all missing. And I said, I really need, and I was just focused at the time on, I need to understand this communication code. I need to understand a better way to, and then of course I knew COVID had hit. So this accelerated the importance of the ability to quickly communicate in 30 minutes, over a Zoom, or it just made it essential. And I saw that as a weakness and I was searching out for an answer.
You have been an incredibly successful salesperson. You refer to what you call your Fisch magic, but something was holding you back from reaching that next level.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I used to describe myself as how many deals I won, how many times I beat my numbers, and my resume reflected that. My communications reflected that. My arrogance reflected that. I've got this many trophies, or I've done this 21 times, or I've closed these 50 deals. I don't know what you're talking about. And there's a certain aggressive, and that's what they're looking for in a top-notch sales guy, but they're not looking for that for the VP and the leadership roles that are around that, or for an opportunity to be on the board of advisors at a company. That's not what they're looking for.
And you actually came up with a now favorite phrase of mine, which is the collective win, which was one of the insights that you had through our coaching process. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Well, I think the collective win in some ways is not a typical capitalist term. A capitalist in America, as I can do it alone, and just let me alone and I'll plow through it and I'll be more efficient than I would be in all these meetings and this and that. The collective win is when you start to look at it more almost in an Ignatian manner. If you study Ignatian politics or philosophy, which is you look for the good of all. So when I started to look at territory changes and account movements and people, I started to think of others. And actually by doing that, I gained a lot of loyalty. And so I think it helped bring people together such that, when I make movements, they call me up and say, I want to work with you. So I think the collective win is a key summary of what, needs to happen if you're going to go to the next level.
No, thank you.
Nobody follows a leader that's after themselves.
Could you summarize for me your top 3 results that you feel you achieved through working with me?
Well, as it turns out, I'm right in the middle of an inflection point that I've been planning since I started to work with you back in the summer. And that was to move on in my career to next steps. So I literally are sitting here today with 3, possibly more offers that are happening to me. So I have a different kind of problem, which is I don't know which one I'm going to take, but they're different. One is the standard, what I'm doing, but with another opportunity with stock and so forth, and your classic role. The other is a board of advisors position, which I've decided to accept. And it's again a collective win. It's a we. It's much more interesting and more complicated. And the third is a consulting opportunity to bring up a business in the United States. And so those opportunities came from conversations that were very much in this new taxonomy of communicating, a new language, a new code. So what I would say, is that I think that this resulted in, I don't think I would have been able to be where I am right now if I didn't make changes.
Yeah. And congratulations on all the exciting offers that you have on the table.
Yeah, it is exciting. And I do believe that I'm going to move forward with the goals that we talked about. And that's another thing I got out of this working with you in these sessions. The number one takeaway is you got to know what you want. And that's not clear. And when that clarity happens, now you can make better choices, and thus your future becomes more about choices than chances.
100%. Yes. And, obviously with everything that's going on in the world, I think it's important for people to hear that there is still choice, there is still opportunity out there. You just have to be open to the possibility of it.
Yeah, when I first started working with you, I think I had a very strong inner DNA that capitalist and pure numbers, that anything else was going to be a loss financially. And I think what I've come to grips with is what I love to do is actually going to move more mountains financially than not. So I'm sort of coming to a new thinking that you can combine what you like to do and the financial aspects of it, and you end up even better. And we talked about that.
Yes, we did. Purpose can equal money.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so one more question for you. What would you say to anyone who is on the fence about going forward with leadership coaching?
What I would say is all of us need a board of directors. So we have in our board of directors, family, doctors, legal, financial advisors, and communication is up there. And that belongs, you need a communication advisor and you need training. That's a must have. And so I think this, you're now part of my board of advisors. And I would encourage others to do this. And that way they're not repeating the same mistakes over and over and over.
Thank you very much, Matthew, for your time today. Have a good day.
Thank you.